Hello, scientists. Happy Monday. I am putting up this is the end activity for our um, Butterfly Lab, Earth Day, and Sunflower Seeds science unit. You know, we connected both the Butterfly Lab and the growing of the sunflowers to Earth Day because some of the issues that are going on with our planet affect butterflies and plants. And the sunflowers, we decided to add in because, of course, the sunflowers are pollinator and they encourage butterflies and encourage pollination. And I want you to think back to, let's make a connection to a previous lesson we had about Greta Thunberg. She's the teenage activist who is fighting for, uh, um, lawmakers to start taking action about climate change on our planet. So, what you have in front of you here is a little bit of climate science, and climate science and butterflies. So, we're going to relate part of that Earth Day focus, specifically climate change, to the butterflies that we just um, hatched and released. I know that the hybrid students, you probably got to see your butterflies being released, and the CDL or the distance learning students, I am going to add to this seesaw lesson. There's going to be several pieces to it. Um, I'm going to add the video of the release of the butterflies that emerged from their cocoons for room 3. Okay, so let's talk about the pieces. First, I'm going to talk to you about climate science, and butterflies. Then you're going to have your activity attached to your seesaw lesson, and that activity will be to sprout sunflower seeds and then observe them. And then, of course, once the sprouts have grown, then you can go plant them in your yard somewhere to encourage butterflies and other pollinators. Then, in addition, I will be attaching another video so that you can see the release of the butterflies. For those of you who have not been able to view that. Okay, so let's get going first with climate science and butterflies. And I'm going to read for you here. Has anyone heard of climate change? What is climate change? Climate change is a long-term change in the average weather patterns of the entire planet. To understand this, it is important to know the difference between climate and weather. Weather is local and temporary. It's what happens at a particular time and place. Weather is rain, snow, wind, hurricanes, heat waves, and so on. Climate is the big picture of weather. If an area like a desert has weather that is extremely hot with very little rain each year, it has a dry climate. If an area like a rainforest is warm and gets lots of rain, it has a tropical climate. We are seeing the average temperatures across the entire planet get higher and higher each year at a faster rate than we've ever seen before. The higher temperatures will change the climate all over the world, making dry areas drier and wet areas wetter. We also expect climate change to cause more extreme weather events by changing the timing, frequency, and duration of precipitation and unusual temperatures. This will affect the plants, animals, and humans living there. What is causing climate change? Climate change is caused by humans burning fossil fuels. Humans burn fossil fuels when we use electricity, drive our cars, fly in planes, and so on. When we do these things, we release tiny molecules of pollution into the air. called greenhouse gases. There are different types of greenhouse gases, but the most common greenhouse gas is carbon dioxide. Other greenhouse gases are methane, nitrous oxide, ozone, and water vapor. Over time, these tiny invisible molecules build up and act as a blanket over the planet that traps heat. This heat trapping blanket will cause the Earth to have a fever that changes the average climate and weather of the planet. How is climate change affecting plants? Imagine you are a flower and that you lived your whole life on a snowy mountain. You would be used to living in a cold climate, right? Now imagine that the climate of your home has changed over time to be much, much hotter. How would you like that? Do you think that might affect your life as a flower? A hotter climate might mean less water available because there is less rain or because more water will evaporate out of the soil before the plants can use it. Many humans like us are lucky enough to be able to cool off by going to in the shade, changing our clothes, drinking lots of water, or going into an air-conditioned room. But do you think a flower can just pull out its roots and walk somewhere else? No. Flowers and many other plants will struggle and have to adapt to drier conditions to survive. Climate change can also change the life cycle of a plant altogether. If the Earth's temperature is warming, flowers will bloom earlier in the year. A lot of flowers bloom in the springtime when there is less frost and warmer temperatures. Kind of what we saw this spring. I don't did you all notice that plants are starting to bloom very early? And it's not even May yet, and I was driving down the street and well, actually it just turned May. Um gosh, all the trees are completely full of leaves now. And it usually takes a little bit longer of the spring to get all of the trees with their leaves on them. Anyway, let me continue. A lot of flowers bloom in the springtime when is less frost and warmer temperatures. But if the temperature is warmer earlier in the year, the flowers will not bloom at the right time. If the life cycle of flowers is changed, it will throw other species out of their seasonal routine as well. Insects count on flowers to bloom at a certain time so they can gather nectar from the flowers. But if the flowers bloom earlier than usual, the insects might have to migrate somewhere else to find nectar. What does this mean for caterpillars? Caterpillars eat the leaves from these plants. If the plants are not growing as well due to less water, they will have less food to eat. What does that mean for butterflies? There is less food for butterflies by the time they arrive to feed on nectar. The flower will have already bloomed. Let me read that again. What does this mean for butterflies? There is less food for butterflies. By the time they arrive to feed on nectar, the flower will have already bloomed. As we can see, climate change is a big factor that can implement plants and insects. We know that it's important for us to care for our fellow humans, but it's also important for us to care for our friends, the plants and animals. Can we brainstorm ideas to help save planet, plants, and animals from climate change? I know you could, but here are 10 things that you can do to help. Climate Kids in Action 10 things I can do to help. 1. Use less electricity. 2. Save water. 3. Recycle. 4. Pick up trash. 5. Walk or ride your bike. 6. Choose reusable bags and water bottles. 7. Eat your veggies. 8. Grow plants for the bees, butterflies, and birds. 9. Read more about climate change and share what you've learned. And 10. Start an earth-friendly project with your friends and family. Okay, guys, so that is the purpose of our end project for our Butterfly Lab, Earth Day, and Sunflower Seeds unit. And we're focusing on numbers 8 and 10. Grow plants for the bees, butterflies, and birds, and start an earth-friendly project with your friends and family. So the earth-friendly project, of course, is you are going to sprout some sunflower seeds and observe the process of the sprouting, and then take those sprouts and go ahead and plant them in your yard somewhere. Or you could plant them in a little starter, um, not a vase, but a starter pot until they get a little bit stronger, and you can then go plant those outside. Okay, guys, so this is it for our introduction. And yeah, happy science.